No, it's not that bad actually. Welcome to Stinky Biker Studio as we have a stinky topic today. I'm gonna give you 8 tips on how to avoid bad smell on your cycling clothing, and not only cycling clothing. You're gonna see why in a second. At the end of this episode, we're gonna go over to my washing machine and I'm gonna give you some extra tips. I'm pretty sure most of you are not using half of these. That's what I think. So, cycling clothing, two problems. Number one, this is the synthetic material. That means we've got here very tight weave. It is super light. It is pretty flexible and comfortable on the bike, breathable as well. But it creates those tiny little spaces for bacteria, which smell like, you know how it smells. Problem number two is the sweat. This is the clothing we are sweating the most, and now we've got November and there are some indoor cycling training sessions coming up with Sick Biker, so you're gonna be sweating as hell. How can we avoid bad smell on these? I have here some new clothing. I have here some 1 season old clothing, maybe this one. This one is like a couple of months, 2 years and 3 years old, and these smell pretty good. How so? Tip number one, have at least 2 cycling kits. So 2 bib shorts, 2 jerseys, 2, if you are wearing jacket often, then 2 jackets. If you are wearing the long ones often, then have 2 of these. I know if I'm talking to those on a budget, do it just as I did it. These Scott bib shorts, super nice winter clothing, very warm. I've been using this one for 2 years, I think. I bought it on eBay, cheap, so I got it. These original Cannondale bib shorts, I bought those on eBay, so I always have a couple of kits, and so it will help me a lot avoiding bad smell, like stinky clothing, just because I have more than 1 kit. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, do never ever leave these after the training overnight. So the most extreme that can happen to us is that we go to the race. We are racing, let's say in the morning, like 10-11 o'clock. We are done 12 o'clock. But we are staying at the event till the late evening, and then we come home. So this stays in the car, but do not leave it overnight. Once you do it, if you do it even just once with your new bib shorts, you are pretty much done with good smell and like fresh smell of your clothing. It will be super difficult to get rid of the smell, and remember the rule. Try to avoid rather than trying to getting rid of, because it will be very, very difficult. So some tips about that at the end, but do not leave this overnight when it's full of sweat. Life is life. Sometimes I'm sitting on my turbo trainer till 11 p.m. so it's late, and I want to go to sleep 11 p.m. So then I would put it on the just like short program, but I still want to have this washed and just put it to some place where it will dry quickly before I go to sleep. Super important, okay? Tip number 3, do not leave these in the washer, because this can be pretty bad for the clothing and for your washing machine, and that means also for the clothing of your spouse, for example. So when I'm putting this into my washing machine, I'm sure that the same day after that program I'll be able to take it out and put it to the dryer. I mean dryer, the place where it dries, to hang it somewhere, because I'm not using the dryer in my washer, because I do have the drying option there. I'm not using it for these fabrics. In some extreme situations, if you really are unable to take it out, maybe you go somewhere or you go to sleep, then I would put the program with the dryer, but it's not preferable for the technical fabrics. So Do not leave it in the washer, even if it's clean, but the washing machine is locked. You're gonna get this bad smell. Tip number 4, use a pre-wash in your program. So you don't want to wash this just once and maybe have 2, 3 or 4 rinsing programs there. You want to have a pre-wash. That means that your washing machine will take the detergent twice, during the pre-wash and then during the main wash, and it helps so much. If you have the like sporting clothing program, it will most likely have the pre-wash. I'm going to show you that on my washing machine. It does work, and it's not just a scam, just like extra program on your washing machine. It helps. So have 2 washing circles, pre-wash and then the main wash. Tip number 5, how to get a completely free extra rinse for your clothing. When I'm going to the shower after my training, I just take my clothing with me. So it will just be with me in the shower, and then it will just get rinsed before I put it into the washing machine. So that's just a free option. I'm not using any extra water, any extra anything. So it's also good for the environment. So when I'm putting these into my washing machine, these are already rinsed, not pre-washed, but at least rinsed for free. Tip number 6, use high spin in your program. Some programs, for example, the sportswear on my washing machine will not allow me to use more than, I think, 1200 RPMs. So your washing machine has cadence as well. So you can just bypass that. I'm turning it off. So I will turn off the spin. So the whole program will go, and then it will just stop before the spin, and then I will only turn it on for the spin at the maximum spinning. Why so? Because especially for the padding in our shorts, I want to have these dry as quick as possible, and if it's like below 1000 RPMs, this will be very wet, and you don't want to be putting it on some hot objects. It should just hang somewhere and get dry. So if you have good weather, do it outside, perfect. But now it's the winter, and I know on some apartments where people live, there is maybe not that high temperature and ventilation. So I really do recommend using high spin. I use it always. So I use 1400 RPMs. It never damaged any of my kits, and as you know, I'm using those for more than 2 seasons even. So high spin, in my opinion, is something good for this technical wear. Tip number 7, the shoes. Yes, you can wash the shoes. What I would do, washing the shoes, I would put the shoes in some old huge like beach towel, and then just put some sportswear program, and it works. There are also some specific programs for the shoes on some washing machines, so you can do it. And also use the inner soles that you can replace. So replaceable inner soles. This is the one I'm using for like from September till November. Inner sole. This one is a bit more soft, and it has also some thermal isolation, so I do like it. These are not the winter shoes, but I would say even this inner sole with the shoe cover, winter shoe cover, will be just fine. But as for the stinkiness and the smell, just use some replaceable inner soles. It will help so much, especially if you're using your shoes on the indoor trainer. There will be lots of sweat inside. So using these, changing those, and removing those right after the training is good thing. And from time to time, we need to wash the shoes. And finally, number 8, do wash your washing machine. Yes, putting nothing inside And even putting it on the 90-degree program is really good idea. And also cleaning that rubber, I'm going to show you that in a second. Cleaning that rubber seal around is super important, because if some dirty stuff with your sweat, with the bacteria stays there, it's going to be stinky, and your washing machine will be stinky, so that everybody's clothing in your home, in your family, will be stinky. So don't do it. Let's go over to the washing machine. All right, it's all in Polish, but do not worry, I'm going to explain all to you. So let's turn it on. These are different programs. This is for the cotton, this is for synthetics. I'm not using this one for my cycling clothing. I'm using this one here. This is the sportswear. As you can see, the light here, that means we've got the pre-wash. So the washing machine will take the detergent once, wash it shortly, and then it will take it for the second time and wash it for a longer period of time. But the problem is only 800 RPMs on the spin. So our washing machine does not want to use higher spin because of the synthetic material fabric that we have. I will use much more. So what I'm doing, I'm switching off. Okay, so I was able to put more, like 1200, but I will switch it off. So it will make the whole program, and after that I'm putting here even 1400 RPMs, and it's much better for drying, and especially the padding of the bib short will dry faster, and it's better. So that's what I'm using. Guys, I know I'm showing you something that might in theory damage your sportswear, so be aware of that. This is something I do and it works for me. And now just a couple of words about cleaning your washing machine. Do keep this part of your washing machine clean. So this is the place where we are putting the detergent. Here goes for the pre-wash, and here for the main one, and this is the softener. I do use fabric softener. It feels better on my body. It's better for my skin if I'm doing for long rides. But it's not something that manufacturers of cycling clothing would recommend, because they say it can change the breathability of your fabrics. So I'm using it anyway. This is only something I do, but for sure keep it clean. On all of the washing machines, this is removable, so you can just remove it and clean it inside there and here. And some other important place is down there. That's the place this rubber should be clean. It will accumulate a lot of old, like slimy water and detergent just under there. So make sure it's clean, because it can also accumulate a lot of bad smell. Also, washing your washing machine is a good idea, so putting it on the 90-degree program without anything, no cloth inside, just detergent is also a good idea. That's it, guys. Let me know what are your tips of keeping our clothing fresh and smelling nicely. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.